What's happening, guys? It's Logan Robinson from here, the Cannons, and a Bucs game day. We're here after the Bucs lose in just awful, ugly fashion to the Atlanta Falcons. Not a good team at all. This is now two really just ugly, rough losses to teams that they should beat and be able to beat convincingly. But once again, they lose at home in Raymond James Stadium, 29-28. And man, what a roller coaster ride of a game. But Kirk Cousins does it again, man. And Bijan Robinson, you've got Kyle Pitts eating you and dicing you up. It's a usual thing, though, sadly, from the Falcons. And now the NFC South division gets very interesting moving forward. Certainly, if the Panthers get the win on Sunday against the Saints. With me is River Wells, our lead editor at BucsGameday.com. River, take me through this game. It was a wild ride.
Quite frankly, the Bucs played bad football just like they have been. They're not only looking like a bad football team, they're looking like one of the worst in the NFL. Putting up 28 points is good, but they have game-putting situations on offense, like that, and like a Buka pass that Baker Mayfield didn't put on the money. You've got third down woes. You've got execution problems on that side. The defense allowing the Falcons to convert on a massive 4th and 14 to get out of bounds, and then when you're going for the spike, having 12 men on the field and an offside, just a complete mess that gives them 5 more yards. Falcons had 18 penalties tonight for over 100 yards, still beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a point, 29-28. They're playing very bad football right now, and they have been, and they're in the worst position that any sports team can be in, which is that they don't know what the answers are. They're lost. They don't know what's happening. They don't know how to fix it. Week in and week out, you hear the same sort of things. They're injured. Yes, that's true, and that hurts. But you get Mike Evans back. You get Jalen Bowen back. Mike Evans goes for over 120 yards. You lose, and it's just execution on both sides of the ball. Baker Mayfield, I thought, had one of his worst games as a Buccaneer. He's been quite bad, I think, for some time now, and that's causing a lot of problems with the offensive execution. It's coaching, right? It's scheming. It's the players have to go out and execute. And we were just talking with our writer, JC Allen, before this, and it is up to a coach to develop his players, to coach them up, to make them play properly. So I do put the onus of that on Todd Bowles for sure. But also the players have to go out there and make plays, and their execution has dropped off a cliff over the last 3 games. So this is a very, very bad football team. As it stands right now, if the Panthers are to beat the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, they will have match point against the Buccaneers in the NFC South the following week. And quite frankly, the way this Buccaneers team is playing, I don't think they can beat anybody in the National Football League. So inexcusable was the word that Tom Bowles used, and he's correct. He used a lot of profanity. I like profanity. YouTube doesn't, so I'm not going to repeat it. But at some point, it is inexcusable, and it has been for the past few weeks, and you have to figure out answers to these problems. And right now, to me, it looks like they don't have any, and that's a really bad place to be.
Yeah, no, it's a really bad place. Todd Bowles absolutely went off more primarily over, do you want it? Do you care about this team? Do you have any want to in you? And he told them to look into the effing mirror in the locker room. That's what he told us, that he told the team afterward, and we heard from Baker Mayfield as well. Not happy. I mean, these guys aren't going to be happy. I mean, what else are you gonna say when you have a loss like this? This team prepared. He said it's not about preparation. They feel like they do they do strong work on that side, but when it comes down to execution, this team just does not deliver. And you can see it on the defensive side of the ball too. Of course, you can see. I mean, the multiple times. I mean, there was one fumble, of course, that you had. I want to say 6 or 7 Bucs players that had a chance, had an easy chance against one Falcons player to go against Mooney to go grab that ball, and they couldn't do it. As a FSU covering Florida State, I mean, that was flashbacks to what happens to the Seminoles all the time. But it was just absolutely horrific. How sorry, I think Rivers getting hit by one of the staff members over there. But yeah, I mean, it was just piss poor play, and you had guys that were really fighting. You could tell from Mike Evans, he looked like he could have gotten injured 2 times in this game all throughout. I think he got flipped on a big-time hit and looked like he hurt his back, and then they were massaging his hamstring. Then he goes back in. Then he looks like he hurts his shoulder, his collarbone again, but then he goes back in. He has over 130-something yards on the night, and it was, the best part of that Bucs offense tonight. And Jalen McMillan made his comeback and made a big-time grab there at the 1. And, Chris Godwin got a touchdown along with the 2-point conversion. Like this, there was rhythm going there in the second half of the Bucs, but the first half it was awful, and the fourth quarter, just as we know, completely collapsed on this team. Just a complete collapse. And this has always been a conversation about Todd Bowles. He said this is a player-driven team. Do you think that's the issue here, that it's truly not enough want, but at the end of the day, you still put that on the head coach?
There's something, man, and they got to figure it out. Quite frankly, you had the same problems occurring year after year. We mentioned this on Wednesday during our Hear the Cannons podcast yesterday. I don't know if the players don't have any want to. He kind of implied that in his press conference and then tried to backtrack it and say, oh, no, they all want it. But, man, if you got to have that conversation in week 15, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. If you don't want it by now, then when are you? When are you going to wake up and go, oh, right? I don't think you do. So it's on players, it's on coaches, it's on culture building there. Baker Mayfield says, I don't think we have a culture problem. I don't know if I agree. I'm not in the locker room. But playing this poorly and this lack of execution and this weird sort of culture around accountability does create those problems. And that's very esoteric, right? So I don't like to really comment on stuff like that because sometimes it's hard to kind of tell, is that a thing? Is that not a thing? But the bottom line, here's what is a thing. They're not executing, all right? The defense is playing bad. The offense is playing bad. The coaching is not good. Certain play calling on both sides of the ball is not up to snuff. Certain decisions going forward. Situational football, right? If Baker Mayfield hits that ball to Emeka Egbuka, we're not talking about this, and that's true, and that's on Baker Mayfield. But throwing the football in that situation not to play out the clock might be on coaching, right? So it's a mix of everything, man, and it's not good. And right now, as it stands, the Panthers are going to smell blood in the water. They beat this Saints team, and they have match point against Tampa Bay at home, and there's no reason for me to think that they won't win that game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll talk to Todd Bowles tomorrow about what's going on, but they don't have answers. They're still looking, and it's too late.
Yeah, no, Tristan Wirfs said it afterward. He doesn't know what else to say. He said he was in complete shock about how this game went. That's exactly the reaction of what we had from Baker, too. They did not at all expect for this game to be a loss. And that's what you hear from every player and every team and such. But, this is a bad Falcons team. This is a bad team.
Guys, 18 penalties. They gave you over 100
that's another
yards
crazy thing. That's another insane thing.
And you couldn't beat them.
You couldn't beat a team that gave you 18 penalties.
People, listen, people are going to talk about that simultaneous fumble recovery, right? And that was a big swing, right? I don't quite know what happened there, but they gave you 18 penalties, right? And you can't beat them. You can't go out there and beat them. So, Falcons tried their hardest to beat themselves, and Bucs wouldn't let them. So, Todd Bowles says they got to go back to work, but they got to do more than go back to work. They got to do something else. They got to do something else. They got to win out to win the division. They know that now, and that's the situation that they're in. So I tweeted this. They hit Defcon 1 tonight, and the bomb's going to drop on them if they don't figure something out.
You and I and Caleb were talking about it on Wednesday night, and we brought up the conversation of if the Bucs lose this game, you're at home. You have a lot of guys back. You have Mike Evans back. You have Jalen McMillan back for your offensive side.
And they played well.
And you lose Sebastian Dennis. I don't think anybody's, too sad about that one for that loss. This conversation about Todd Bowles it's on the hot seat. I think whenever you're looking around for hot seat articles, I think you're going to find a few tomorrow morning, River, or at least after Sunday. Because,
you would
that's
have to
the situation that you're at. This team had a lot of high expectations coming into the season. And that's not just from, us saying it. We're at training camp and such, and we could see it on hand firsthand, but also this team believed it. And, you hear that from all across the league. These players are going to say that they feel like they're Super Bowl bound and they've got a lot of potential, but you could truly feel like there was a lot coming into it. You bring your entire offense back as well. Yes, you go with some injuries here and there, but as we've found, injuries are not the issue with this team. That is not an excuse at all.
And
it never is. It never should be in the NFL. It never should
But that's not it, man.
And Baker's not playing. Baker's not playing good football. We were talking about it in the press box since week 7?
Yeah, since about week 7. I mean, I mentioned it right at the beginning of this podcast. This is one of Baker's worst games of the Buc. Missing passes high. Again, he had the kill shot to Emeka Egbuka down the seam there in that second down. He hits that, game over, can't do it. Holding on to the ball way too long tonight, taking sacks where he didn't need to, and he even got bailed out of 2 of them by A.J. Terrell's holding. So it actually ended up looking a bit better than it really was. He's had a really rough game, be it injury, be it being who he is, be it, the O-line. There's a bunch of reasons why this could be. I've gone through a few of them, but the bottom line is that he's not playing good football, and then as a result, that hurts the offense, right? And offensive line, the interior pressure, horrible. Could not stop anybody. Those backup guards, really bad play there, and Graham Barton as well at center. And then, you've got receivers, and sometimes they run the wrong routes. Baker was looking at Tess Johnson at one point. So that's something to think about as well. It comes down to everyone. I think Emeka Egbuka was right when he said that in the locker room, but your quarterback not playing, not even up to standard, not even bad. I mean, really bad.
Well, there's a comment on here about the offensive line. And of course, that's an issue from the interior. You could tell that, and but Baker, for some reason, too,
holding the
ball, feel he's not comfortable with the offensive line. You can tell that, and then he gets jittery, and then he pumps that ball, and those feet are moving very quick. And that's been the case since after the I'd say the Patriots game. But you could just see a change in his play, his mentality. You can see the difference in pregame as well. I was able to tell. I think he's lost some of that strength and his mentals, and for a quarterback, and if that shoots you, it's hard to come back when you're shot mentally coming into games like this. And I don't feel like he's that confident. And he was able to find a little bit of a rhythm in this game, and it helps a ton when you have a guy like Mike Evans that can go up and moss people the way that he does.
And shout out to Chris Godwin, the second Octopus of the Year. Egbuka had the last one. So good stuff there. That's execution. Tom Bowles said Mike's one of the guys who cares, which is an interesting thing to say, and he kind of backed off on that rhetoric later in the press conference. You guys can look it up on YouTube. But if you got that problem this deep in the season, then abandon all hope, ye who enter here. It's not going to get better.
No, not at all. Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. Like Todd Bowles just said, it's certainly disappointing. If you're a Bucs fan, it's definitely disappointing with the start that you had of the season. And I know you had the injuries lingering, but this team was still able to fight and play through them. But just something happens on a yearly basis under Todd Bowles, and it's lose games consistently after having a pretty strong start to the season. And you saw a lot of momentum swinging their way. And they've completely crapped it out. It's completely gone now, and now it's really going to be all up in the air on who wins this NFC South division. They still would need to go beat the Panthers twice. You have to beat the Panthers twice, and I just don't see that happening.
4:25 Sunday. Sit down and watch, because that's going to be a big one. To be quite frank with you, I agree. I don't see that happening, beating the Panthers twice, and also. Guys, we talked about it before. If this team makes the playoffs, they are going to get shelled in the first round. They're going to get demolished. It will not even be a conversation. It will be swiftly dispatched and fought no more of by whoever the fifth seed is. So, that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, no, it's an ugly play there. We will be live for you guys, though, likely maybe even earlier in the week next week, since this was a Thursday night game. So make sure you subscribe down below. Hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more longer shows than this usually for you guys, so we'll be on there at least probably Tuesday, maybe even Monday. Just depends with how many things are going on right now. But this team is in shambles, and there's a lot to talk about, and I think even more of an importance to talk about the future of what this organization is going to look into what 2026. That's kind of sadly where we're at, where this team is still has a potential to make the playoffs. You know, they still have a chance to fight and make it. It's just
which when you
look
look
like
at the
that.
quality of play,
It looks like that
is
percentage
crazy.
It is insane. It looks like the percentage is dropping heavily, though. It definitely looks like the percentage is dropping. But we've got some crazy.
Going on over there.
We've got crazy stuff going on.
I don't know if we're legally obligated to talk about what's going on at TNS.
Jason Witten.
Thursday Night Football is behind us. So.
Yeah, I'm looking for Fitzgerald, Fitzmagic, but he's not out here anymore. Could have used a little bit of that Fitzmagic tonight. But yeah, gotta clean things up. Got to be better on the offensive side, defensive side. Special teams wasn't too bad tonight. Actually had
not too bad. Had a good punt.
Kick return. There we go.
Good,
There's a
good
plus
punt coverage.
Right there. Good punt coverage.
We found
good
it.
Kick return coverage.
See you guys later.
That was just all you needed to hear. Yeah, and JPP, you know me, might be coming back. So that might just save everything. Everything. All right, guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's night, or I should say morning, and enjoy y'all's weekend. We'll be back with you guys early next week. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the content. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Y'all get safe. Be safe. Head home. Peace.